Susannah here in Barcelona in my little Airbnb. I'm just about on my first decade of property, and I worked incredibly hard, so I'm not going to pretend not. But these days, this year I've planned 182 days holiday, 183 days working. So that's what property can do for you. And I work 2 hours a week on my property portfolio. I have a team that run it. The rest of the time I do kind of education and marketing stuff around that because I really enjoy it. So yeah, property can really work for you, whatever your why is. And for me, my why was family and security, and I'm here visiting my son, who's a little baba 21, although he wouldn't be pleased to hear me say so. And he's graduated, and now he's doing really well living in Barcelona. So, property, beginner's guide to starting a buy-to-let portfolio. There's so much to tell you, but I think I just want to do the basics and simplify it so you go, okay, fine. So, first things first, find yourself a very good whole-of-market financial advisor. Whole-of-market because that means the person is not tied to one mortgage house or one mortgage provider. So they'll give you whole-of-market, which should be competitive rates throughout. Second, find out how much you can currently borrow by doing a DIP, decision in principle. You may or may not have to pay a small amount of money for that. But what it does is it gives you peace of mind to understand the top amount of money you could borrow and how much deposit you're putting in. Third, figure out your deposit. I've got lots of videos about raising private finance as well as deposits, raising private finance as well as working with your own money. But let's just assume you've got a deposit. How do I get out of here? There we go. Come on, let's go into the street in Barcelona. So you figure out exactly how much your deposit's going to be. Fourth, now figure out what you want to buy, whether it's a single let, a multi-let, a serviced accommodation, or if you're going to do some buying and selling. Personally, I started with a single let because it allowed me to understand the mechanism of being a landlord. Fifth, I would say come on, we'll cross the road. It's like taking your safety into your own hands in Barcelona. They're very nifty. Fifth, I would join a professional organisation. So we joined the National Landlord Association. I think they're very good, NLA, and I think the website is landlords.org. There's also the Residential Landlord Association. I understand they're very good too. Their legal helpline is worth its weight in gold. So if nothing else, you'll join it for the legal helpline. You'll be so pleased. Sixth, understand who you're going to be renting to. Is it working professionals, which gets my vote? Is it students? They're also a really good group. Is it DSS? I'm probably less excited about that group because unfortunately they don't have the money, and so they're very much reliant on the system giving them the money, and the system isn't necessarily going to put your financial requirements of paying your mortgage first sometimes. So, but you choose your client group. So what are we on, about 6? So 7, get all your paperwork done in advance. So figure out your insurance provider, figure out whether you're doing a 6-month AST. You can get all of those documentations from your National Landlord Association, and you also can get discount on things like insurance, and you know that they're good insurance providers because they've been checked out and verified by the National Landlord Association. And that kind of gets you ready, doesn't it? And then you need to get going. So 8, I would say, be mindful of who you listen to. And the reason for that is the people around you are going to be worried about you. So they're going to worry that you're making a financial risk that isn't going to work out well for you. So listen to them, but don't listen to them. If I had listened to the people around me, I wouldn't have a 9-figure portfolio. So be mindful of people around you. They're there to care for you. They're not necessarily going to be excited about the financial risk they perceive you to be taking. And then, 9 or 10? Do it. Absolutely do it. I did not look back. It is the best financial risk I have ever taken, and it is a risk, but I'm super fast at getting the builders in, super fast at getting the tenants in, generally, subject to market conditions, super fast at getting it turned around and back out for sale. So as long as you mind that time is money, you don't want to be sitting like buying it on a Friday and 2 weeks later getting the builders in. You want to get the builders in there and then, super fast. Do it. Don't be frightened. Just go ahead and do it. And once you've done it once, or even before you've done it once, I want you to write a plan and figure out what the end goal is and why you're doing it. What are you doing it for? What is it you're trying to provide? For me, it was security for my family and a pension, and both of those things have been amply provided for. And then how many houses do you need to do to make that goal happen? How much is it going to cost you to do? What people need to be involved in your team? And go find the money. I know I make it sound easy, but have a look at my videos on fundraising. Find your team, which is recruiting, and identify whether you need to work full-time or part-time in this, how much you're going to outsource, what systems you're going to use, and how you're going to do some checks and balances, KPIs effectively, key performance indicators on your portfolio to make sure, like, can you see me? There you go, to make sure this works for you. So I hope that's a kind of skeleton overview for you, beginner's guide to starting a buy-to-let portfolio. But the best advice I can give you is do it. I wouldn't be planning 182 days holiday if I had stayed in a job, would I? I don't even need to put in like a holiday sheet. I just planned it. It's in the diary. Didn't have to ask anybody. And that's the best reason to do it, isn't it? Freedom. See you soon.